Kansas News Leader.
2 Shawnee County Commission seats are up for election this November. Today we are looking at District 3. District 3 encompasses generally the southeast portion of the county. You see it highlighted in that pinkish color. Republican Aaron Mays is the incumbent, while his is the only name you will see on the ballot. Jason Morris does appear on the candidate list when you go to the elections website as a registered write-in. He was here earlier this month. Aaron Mays is here with us today. Welcome to you.
Thank you.
How have you enjoyed your time on commission so far, and why do you want to stick around?
You know, it's sometimes great and sometimes not so great. So, I mean, it's just part of the job. The reason that I want to stick around is partially because I feel like there's a lot of unfinished business that we have, some projects that I'd like to see through for sure. But also, I think more than that is just because I really care about our community. I feel like there's a lot that needs to be done, and I'm willing to do it. I'm eager to do it, and so I feel like another 4 years is something I want to do to continue to make our community better.
What projects are out there that you think you need to see through or need to get started?
You know, the Kansas Turnpike interchange that we're trying to put into Auburn is something that has been talked about for decades, and I feel like just in the last 2 years we've made some real progress with the Turnpike and trying to get that accomplished. And I want to get it done with as little Shawnee County property tax dollars as possible. And so we're trying to seek out other funding sources and things like that to try and to get that accomplished in the next couple of years.
What would you say are some of the, what is the top issue that maybe we're not talking about under the surface that is going to impact the Shawnee County residents that you think we need to put on the table? Well,
I think that, you know, the top issues right now that I've heard from people is property taxes obviously is a big thing for people, but I think that homelessness is something that it is an issue, and I think there are people that are talking about it. I mean, it's at the forefront all the time, but I think that, you know, more than just homelessness, if you kind of get down into that a little bit more, I think mental health is a big part of our issues here, mental health and substance abuse. And so we are trying to address that at Shawnee County. We increased the funding for Vallejo this year. We're also working on the mental health facility at the jail that we're building, which will hopefully try and get some of these folks that are mentally ill some treatment before they get back out on the streets. And so, you know, mental health is something that there's a lot of homeless people that are mentally ill, and so we want to make sure that they can get help. To maybe get them back as functioning members of society. What
further role should Shawnee County have, especially when you talk about trying to hold the line on taxes, but at the same time there is a proposal that's been put forward. We have heard how it's going to take partnerships between government and nonprofits, and government can't be expected to foot the entire bill. But how much is Shawnee County willing to invest, or do you feel like by being a main funder for a place like Vallejo, which provides some mental health services to those, and by building this addition onto the jail, that you're already contributing?
Well, I don't know that we can put a dollar number on it just yet. I think that when we look at homelessness, it's easy to look at it as a problem that affects us, but this is a national problem. The problem cannot be fixed by local government alone. It's going to have to be private sector. It's going to have to be the state, the federal government. It's going to have to be everyone working together to try and solve these problems. And so I don't know that I can say Shawnee County can't fix the problem. We're going to have to be a partner sitting at the table working with other people to get it done.
And when it comes to property taxes, we have heard before the explanation that, well, you don't control, as the county commission and the county itself, you don't control the laws that govern the appraisals.
Right.
To what extent are you, as a county commissioner, willing to go to the state legislature, help develop a proposal, and say that we need to revisit how this appraisal process works? Or do you think it's working fine?
I think that, you know, the appraisal process is what it is. I mean, one of the things that I proposed in the last few years was, and I talked with the House Tax Committee and a few people there, that doing a rolling average on valuations. So maybe looking, instead of just at this year, your house value went up by this much, maybe looking back at like the last 3 or 4 years and averaging it out. And I think that would kind of smooth the edges, those peaks and valleys of what you get with your valuations now. It would eliminate the possibility of, you know, a 10%, 12% jump in 1 year, and instead kind of round those edges off. And I think it would help us from a governmental perspective of trying to plan for the future, that we would have a better idea of what next year's budget might look like. And so I think that's one way that we could work with the legislature to maybe not necessarily reinvent the wheel, but kind of round it a little bit more.
That is one topic that a lot of people have been talking about,
Yeah.
so we'll see what comes forward in January. And of course, with the election next week, Tuesday, Aaron Mays, thanks so much for being here.
Yeah, thank you.
We are going to get a look at just whether, well, we do have dry weather for the trick-or-treaters, but how many layers do you need?